Hello everybody and welcome to episode 2 of Grand Line Gaming.
Woo!
So, we are going to continue where we left off, but before we get to that I just want to show you something a little cool about this game. When we go to another log, today on this recording it's Usopp's birthday.
April 1st.
April 1st, so next to him is a birthday cake, and that lets you pretty much level the characters faster. So as you can see,
it's like double experience or something.
Yeah, something like that. So I have a Usopp level 43 right now.
Wow.
Yeah. I think my third highest, because you know Luffy's 50, but my third highest is Zoro with 41.
It's pretty badass.
Everybody else is in the 20s. So, let's continue where we left off.
Yeah, let's do it. Now, where did we stop? We stopped after Don Krieg, right?
Yeah, so we're up to the Arlong arc.
Yes.
In time skip Luffy mode.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so let's get to it.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, well, somebody asked a question just before we started. Someone bought a 3DS and got the European edition of Unlimited Cruise.
Right.
And they were wondering how that is. Now, I have a Japanese 3DS. Of course, the 3DS, for whatever reason, they decided, I guess because of piracy issues, maybe they decided to region lock it. So I actually imported a 3DS from Japan so that I could play Japanese games. And I played some of Unlimited Cruise, but I did not get too far. It's one of those games, like, for me, just the kind of that OCD kicks in, you know, in terms of trying to get all of the different items and stuff. And if you try to do that too much in that game, you'll never get anywhere because there's so much of it. And so I didn't actually play too far through it. But I guess I've heard that for whatever reason the European edition only has part 1.
Yeah, that is true.
Which is really weird, I guess. I mean, I think both of them, the Wii versions, were released in Europe, isn't that right? 1 and 2? Or...
Yeah, both parts were released in Europe subtitled.
So there must be some reason. I don't know. I guess, I don't know. I saw some jokes that, you know, some people were saying, oh, I bought the One Piece game and it comes in 2 pieces, which is that really sucks. Particularly if it was, you know, like a full price game, because then you're literally just getting half of the.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what the real specs are. I mean, I know Nintendo got a lot of backlash for region locking it, but handhelds never really should be region locked.
Yeah, I think, you know, part of the issue is just that it's so much easier, I guess, to pirate, particularly once they get obviously for the DS, they have they have to, like, make the chipset for the carts. And once you do that, where you can just plug it into a USB thing and download the ROMs or whatever, then then it's basically free reign for anyone who wants to get a game they want for free. And I know that at least outside of Japan, like the PSP, it's just totally ravaged. Like they can barely sell any games retail anymore because it's so easy to pirate. So I can understand the rationale behind it, but, you know, as usual, for the legitimate customers who actually want to support things for their money, it kind of ends up screwing those people over.
Yeah, I mean, that's why PS3 is one of my favorite systems. You could import it and everything's okay.
Oh yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the GameCube, you had like Freeloader. Which would sometimes change the Japanese to, like, weird text, and if we ever play Treasure Battle on this segment, you'll see what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah. So you have an import version of that?
Yeah, I have import Treasure Battle, and I also have DON Battle Stadium for the GameCube. Trying to think if I have any other ones. No, I think I got all the Grand Battle games on the PS2.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't really get into importing games until the PS3, just because you know, like I did get my original PlayStation modded, and back when I was much younger, and I would like convince my parents to buy me import games for my birthday or stuff like that, before I actually had money of my own. But just the whole like the possibility of breaking your system and things like that, I just don't want to have to deal with that. So having a system where you can just literally get the game and pop it right in is just so nice.
Well, with the Nintendo DS, I imported games for that as well.
Yeah,
because that was region free, and I love Owen Don. Oh, that is such an awesome game.
Mm-hmm.
Luffy from the future will come and save you.
Yes, that's right.
There you go.
Time travel Luffy.
Time traveling Luffy. Okay, when will we start showing other games? As soon as we pretty much go through the story mode of Kaizoku Musou, we may do a little bit of another log, but I'll throw a poll up when we're reaching the end of this.
Yeah, and we were just talking about, and we were guessing it'll probably take about 4 or 5 weeks, I think, to get through it, based on the current rate we're going through the game.
And all these videos are on YouTube now, so episode 1 is actually on YouTube.
Yes, that's right.
And here we go.
Yeah, someone asked, are the costs for importing consoles huge? Yes, if you needed to get a console from another region, like Japan specifically, it does cost a lot because, to say nothing of the fact that the exchange rate is so bad right now. Like most like PS3 games that I'm getting, it's about $100 now.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous, the pricing.
Yeah, and obviously, shipping, especially if you get something like a PlayStation 3, that's gonna cost a lot for shipping too. Now, one nice thing is that because of the electric currents, the voltage that they use in Japan, their appliances basically will work in North American things, so you don't have to worry about like burning out the circuits or anything like that. I think it's different between Japan and Europe, and Europe and the U.S. But like I have, like I said, I bought a 3DS that has its own charger, and that works perfectly fine. So that is nice at least.
Right. Yeah. By the way, with Luffy, usually his taunt with select is putting on his hat, so when he doesn't have his hat, he just like cracks his knuckles.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah, there it is.
So yeah. So it's those like little things.
Yeah. Now someone asked if how much Japanese do you need to know to get through this game?
Not that much.
Yeah, not that much, particularly if you just want to play it. The only thing you really need to know are the menu screens, and I'm pretty sure that you can find translations of those online. Those, especially for popular games, at the very least, like GameFAQs usually has someone who puts up a little translation guide of the menus.
And there's actually a nice Google Docs I found that translates all the skills and what you need to make the skills and what the skills do. So you could easily find materials too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you do want to really get the most out of the game and get all of the skills and the coins and stuff, it will take more work, and there's a bit of trickiness as far as when they give you individual missions inside the levels, because they're telling you, like, that text bar at the bottom with the red and the blue text that you can see there is telling you what you need to do next. And in a lot of cases on these Musou levels like this, where you're running around through all these territories, there will be things like Crocodile will send whirlwinds that will basically knock you off your feet, or Kizaru will shoot lasers or something like that. It's an effect that happens, and there's usually some sort of quest like go beat these guys.
Well, like right here.
That will disappear.
like all of a sudden on the map also, when certain enemies you have to beat to move forward appear, they will blink. But see how that guy turned bright red? That means he's one of the guys that I have to go. And all the blinking red icons on the map are guys I have to beat to complete this mission. Like on the bottom right now it says X3.
Yeah.
So
you got three
those
guys.
are guys. But you could also view where they all are. So this could show me, like on the map, where the guys I need to beat are.
Right. So, you know, stuff like that will definitely help you, at least once you get used to it and you know what to look for. But other than that, you know, not a whole lot of Japanese needed. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, someone asked, have you platinum this yet? And yes, you have. I have not.
Yeah, I did.
I still need a couple more coins, and I still need to get 100,000 guys defeated. But probably not too much longer for me to get those.
Yeah, I'm just...
You are. Okay, let's see if there are any questions we missed here.
Oh, did you ever, like, beat all the guys you have to beat before all the conversation finished?
Yeah. Where you're just, like, waiting for the gate to open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of annoying. The other thing that really bugs me is, you know, all the main characters, when they appear in the level, they have a little intro movie where they, you know...
Yeah.
But for some reason, like, a lot of the time, that movie doesn't actually start until you've been fighting them for, like, 15 seconds. So,
right.
You know, like, I'll be running up and, like, you know, I'll be fighting Jabra or something, and, like, he's, like, 75% dead already, and then all of a sudden it just, like, cuts right in and stops the game and shows this video, and you have to skip it. It's,
right.
Oh, it's really annoying.
I mean, we're also going to see sometimes it stops you and you switch to another character. Like, soon after I beat these guys, it'll be switching me to Zoro to fight Hachan.
Yeah, that's true. There are little
but that's just the story mode.
Right, exactly. Someone says that this game looks like just non-stop hack and slash. Why do people like this more than the Unlimited series besides the graphics? And it's a good question. I've always stated that in spirit, the Unlimited series is sort of like the best example of the One Piece universe, because you get the exploration. You know, you're sort of seeing new things, and it's not all just straight fighting. But the problem is that just the execution of those the balance of them is so off. It's just,
and there's a lot of grinding for those.
Yeah, there's just way too much, you know, like inventory management and, you know, running around hoping to get the one thing that you need, which really takes away from, you know, the fun of it all.
Yeah, I just wanted to say though, I had the same mindset where it was pretty much like, you know, it's just pressing the same button over and over. Where's the fun in that? And I'm actually having quite a blast with this game.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely monotonous, but the game sort of gives you the tools, particularly if you're really being creative and using all of the using all of your different moves and your different combos of, you know, you just feel like you've mastered the characters, and it helps really take away a lot of the monotony of running around to beat these guys. But yeah, I mean, I think ideally, you know, something of a combination of these things where, you know, you get the fun combat of this game mixed with more of that sort of adventure experience would be, you know, the perfect One Piece game. But you know, that's probably not going to happen, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad to see it on the PS3, and yeah, I've never been into any of the Dynasty Warriors games before, honestly.
Yeah, I've played a couple of them, but I think this is the most I've ever played any of them, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
There's some guys with the shields.
Yes.
So yeah, I find like at this point it's just easier to use like the first special instead of like wasting all my energy and keep using the special ones. You just get so many people with them.
Yeah, I mean, the regular guys in this game are weak enough that there really isn't much point to using the higher, multiple bar specials on them. You just save those for the bosses when you really need to take out a lot of damage.
And then when you beat the leader, usually that clears like all the enemies in the area. They just run around like fools.
Yeah. Yeah, lots of times they will automatically see. They didn't get all of them on this one, probably because they were
from
generated.
A different area.
Yeah, generated through some different process. But most of the guys that come from that territory will automatically leave once you've beaten them.
Oh, now it wants me to go to quickly after. Oh, I guess mission complete. Yeah, I mean, someone said they look like big pearl shields, and there's a lot of things that look like other characters or other things from the series. Like where it looks like they started developing it, but they didn't have the time, but they're kind of developing for the next game as well in case there's a sequel, so they just use like those sprites kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely, you'll see a lot of the generic enemy models that actually look like they were originally based on a character that we know. So you get the pearl shields. I know you said that there's an enemy that looks like a poo.
Yeah.
There are guys that look like Zambai from the Frankie family. Yeah, the big guys look like Joseph.
Chance, by the way. Especially when you use Asura.
Yeah. Well, when you're only the second best fisherman swordsman, you really don't stand a chance against Zoro.
I wish I could be Zoro, as time skip Zoro as well. That'd be pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe in the next game they'll allow for those mechanics.
It seems pretty minor to me. I have my doubts, but I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I don't really play Muso games. So, one of the questions was, what arcs does this cover?
Well, it pretty much covers all of the major ones except for Skypiea and Thriller Bark. Those are the two big ones that are missing. And, we don't really know why, presumably because they, just didn't have the time to cover all, so many arcs, because there is, still a fair amount in the game.
Right.
But that actually, the ones that are missing, and just the sort of the general nature of the game feeling a little bit incomplete, is part of the reason that actually fans in Japan, at least going by Amazon Japan reviews, are actually really mad about the game. They've been sort of, I don't know, I guess review bombing is probably the right term on Amazon Japan, and a lot of that has to do with both the stuff that's not in the game and just sort of the general practice, like the philosophy that they seem to have had with making the game with the DLC, and how it's so expensive, particularly for a game that a lot of kids are going to be playing. It's too expensive, and then you can't really expect kids' parents to keep shelling out for these costumes and things that are not originally in the game, and so you expect only adults will buy it, and if you're going to charge that much anyway, you might as well just add it on the price and a little bit and put all that stuff in the game.
Yeah, I mean it's a bit ridiculous, especially if it's not going to cover over to the next game. So here we're entering boss zone where Luffy just punched down the wall. So
nice recreation of that scene.
Yeah, I gotta say Arlong is really nice rendered. They did when they close up on his face later, you'll see they just do a good with the details.
Yeah, I like all the cinematic stuff in this game is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like that I get to press square to punch him in the face. It's fun. So, while we're playing the boss, there's different kinds of bosses, and this one is kind of he has 3 parts like bosses normally do, where once you defeat a certain part, it pretty much whatchamacallit, brings you to the next part of that level.
Yeah, it shifts the stage a little bit, and most of the major boss fights in the main mode are like this. And you know, that way they're able to get a little bit more true to the the actual scene in the manga in a way that you can't do if you're just in the regular game engine.
Yeah.
Which is it's nice. Some of them they all tend to have at least one part that's a little gimmicky where you sort of have to do something or dodge something, but
well, right here in the second part of the Arlong fight, you have to dodge his water or his shark on darts, depending what he does.
Right.
It seems once you lock onto him, he starts doing shark on darts.
Here he comes.
Because when I don't have him locked on, he usually does a little water splat where the water... Oh, he just did it and I wasn't paying attention. Aha! But, no, I mean, I think they really were creative with the fights, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. And, as you'll see with this one, once he does his, like, little final attack, that pretty much drains all his health for this bit. So, like, right here, it's gonna prompt an action where I press X and pretty much rotate the joystick, and that pretty much takes off most of his health, where I could just finish him while he's stuck to the wall like that. So, over here is another scene that's recreated where Arlong's coming at you and you're going up the tower after he gives you a little toss over there. So yeah, what do you think of like these little sequences where it's like interacting?
They're pretty cool. They I guess it I don't know. There's a lot of the QuickTime event stuff that can get a little tiring, but it's at least it gives you something to do.
Well,
in these little scenes.
As we go into the window here, there's another thing that I'm going to want to touch upon, which actually makes this boss battle really cool. So, yeah. So here we go. So now we're back. Hopefully the audio's better. And here you can see we're in Nami's room once again.
Yes.
So basically, you could actually destroy the room. See?
Which is pretty cool. I like that they added that.
Yeah.
That touch obviously is part of the scene in the manga and the anime.
Right. So what move should I beat Arlong with?
The best one you can.
Alright, let's do gear third. Oh, second. I forgot I don't have the thing for fourth. The fourth bar. That was quick.
What's your favorite boss fight in the game?
Ooh.
It's a good question.
Yeah. Steven, let's start with you.
I don't know. That's a tricky one because there are definitely some boss fights that really suck because there might be kind of an annoying set of things you have to do in order to hurt them. I don't know. I guess the crocodile fight was pretty cool as far as I remember. I have not played the main log very much since I beat that. Mostly I've spent the last few weeks doing another mode and leveling up all the other characters. So my memory of the particular fights is not so good. What do do you think, Jason?
What do I think of my favorite boss fight? Not Kizaru.
Yeah, Kizaru kind of sucks.
Kizaru will be like, "Oh, you thought you stunned me? I'll just move in the last second before you attack."
Yeah, the Logia guys are all
Yeah,
a pain in the ass to fight.
I will agree with that.
As we will see.
I mean, I enjoyed the Arlong one a bit just because it takes you through the different. They were creative with it.
Yeah, the trying to avoid him when he shoots out of the water is pretty annoying, but like the path of the battle and the way that they orchestrated it is pretty cool.
Well, if you use the X dash dodge when you're attacking, it makes it a lot easier. Magellan, I just heard someone ask, but that's a pain in the butt with the poison.
Yeah, that's another sort of gimmick fight where you have to do some.
Though I did like fighting him with the wax. That was fun. Yeah. Alright.
Get those coins.
Yeah. Some of mine are just too high level. See, I have like a few that are max with the coins.
Yeah, I still have not gotten any of those. That's kind of weird.
Yeah, actually, I have one for. I have max. Like I have like a couple maxes for health, a couple maxes for defense, and a couple of maxes for fighting.
Nice.
So let's continue to the next stage. See, this is kind of like just Brooke, like now realizing and understanding where Nami's past, kind of thing.
Right.
So that's pretty much how they play off the whole story.
Yeah, pretty much. Frankie, of course, sobbing. He's so moved.
So, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, the more I play this game, the more I've been enjoying it, not just from a One Piece perspective, but from an actual video game perspective.
Yeah. There are obviously a few annoying things here and there, but I've definitely enjoyed the game a lot.
Yeah. I mean, if it does come out in the US, which is a big, but kind of thing, I wonder how it'll be perceived, because usually Dynasty Warriors, I don't think, do too hot in the US, or ratings-wise at least.
Yeah, ratings-wise they don't, but there's definitely a pretty sizable audience that is really into those games. And
well, I guess because I mean we've seen the Gundam ones come over, we've seen the Fist of the North Star.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. This one I think has oversold all of those in Japan.
Yeah, this one sold like gangbusters.
Yeah. So now we're in Drum, and this is going to be one of those action stages where it kind of takes you away from the fighting a bit.
Right.
Yeah, and you'll see what I mean. I actually like that they took that creative license with it. I mean, I've heard a lot of people complaining like there's less fighting and more,
jumping around
in this one. But the way they pulled it off, I like the whole little thing where you have to take care of Nami. Because it kind of brings you into that world. It brings you into the story.
Right, yeah, this level coming up is basically like Luffy trying to take Nami up to Dr. Kreha. Obviously, you're not actually climbing up the side of the mountain, but it's sort of in gameplay terms, it's kind of reproducing that effect by just having you trek around all these snowy areas.
Right.
You have to keep an eye. She has a timer. What is it, like 5 minutes? I think.
Yeah, 5 minutes. We'll see, but I mean, I could see the climbing the mountain in the next game where it's like quick time event to avoid falling snow and icicles.
Yeah. Press X.
Left, right, left. So yeah. So we have our little manga panel cutscene. Like Uncharted, yes. Like
yes,
Uncharted.
exactly.
I like the Uncharted games.
Oh yeah, I love them.
I'm not usually a fan of shooters at all. Look at the thing on Luffy's waist going through his arm. I love like little glitches like that in games. I remember Unlimited Adventure had that whenever you switched to Usopp's Sogeking outfit, when he was running, the feet would always go through the cape.
Oh really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
So yeah, so if you know the story, you'll understand what's going on.
Yes. Oh, Vivi, everyone's favorite.
Yeah, at least you don't have to like play with her.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised they didn't do that as one of the characters.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, you know, again, she doesn't really have very many moves that they could program into the game. Which,
just the stuff from Risky Peak.
Yeah,
but
basically.
I find it funny that they didn't like make any models for Karu. So that ending cutscene in Alabasta. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. Someone asked if all the voices are the same. Yep, it's all the usual gang of voice actors.
There are a few changes. Like I think Mihawk's is the new Mihawk's voice.
Oh yeah, see, I'm not as fresh up on the voice actor information. I just recognize, you know, Luffy, Sanji, Zoro.
For all the characters, it's their latest voice actor if they've had more than one.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. That'd be weird. It's like... no, they didn't reuse any old audio sound bites or anything. It's all freshly recorded.
Yeah.
So here is where we have to keep Nami warm in these like little circles of fire where it says Nami recovery. So, you know, 5 minutes in the cold, and I don't know what happens. I've never done that.
Yeah, you never actually let Nami die.
No. Have you?
No.
Yeah. There's the Going Merry.
Now, if they had like programmed this in a way that when you reach these things, rather than it just automatically resetting into 5 minutes, if there was maybe like a one-time thing where it would recover like 2 minutes worth of time or something, like I could see that.
Well, they have some of those. They have some of those things where it's like, hey, you just opened this treasure box with the tea.
Yeah. But, you know, in general, once you find one, then you're already back up to the full amount. And
right. Well, here's an example. After being yelled at by Sanji, we now have to set Nami down to rest before we do any action.
Right. So she's sitting there on the bench while you can now do, you know, Luffy's full assortment of actions. But the timer is ticking down if there's no little heat lamp thing next to the bench. So yep, yeah, there's the chest.
Yeah, well, I'll do that after I do what I gotta. I hate these little things. See, the little teapot got me straight to 5 minutes.
Yep.
But then again, I haven't really ever let it run down, really, though.
Yeah, I mean, there are some parts where there's, you know, what you need to do is a little more elaborate, but there's nothing really that difficult to figure out.
Right.
In these segments.
Yeah. And they don't put, like, the fire by the benches. They make it a little bit more difficult than that. Oh, they gotta finish their conversation first. Then the guys come.
Alright, we have a question. Favorite One Piece game? What do you think, Jason?
Ooh, favorite One Piece game? I really enjoy the Grand Battle games, I gotta say. I mean, let's I guess let's take it to series, but the Grand Battle series has always been my favorite. From what I played of 2 was a really awesome game. Grand Battle 2. I think that's like, you know, the fan favorite from what I could tell. But
is there a reason why 2 rather than 3?
I just think the assortment of characters and just the way the game played, it's definitely more side-scroller-esque. I mean, with 3 and the others, it gets to be more like Power Stone.
Yeah. Where it's sort of like the battle arena type thing.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, Eneru is also very cheap in that in the Grand Battle games. Anyone that could revive themselves after getting beaten. But no, I mean, I enjoy those. They're fun. I don't see why they haven't made them 4-player yet. To me, that makes 0 sense. I guess, I mean, because I know the PS2 only had 2 controller ports, but...
Right. Now all the systems have 4.
Right.
Or at least they support 4. I guess they don't have ports anymore. They just...
Well, the PS2 you could split and do ports. Like, I have the Full Metal Alchemist fighting game. And that allows you to use the extension so you can play 4 players.
Now is that different from, because there was one that was sort of like a RPG-ish, like not very stat heavy, but there was.
Oh, the one I'm talking about was just a fighter.
Okay, so it's a different game.
Yeah. Oops. Shoot, I messed that up. I hate the little jump spin arounds because you could only press X at that like one particular.
Yeah, and they always time it so that you would have to know exactly when it starts if you're going to hit it the first time. Otherwise, you have to wait.
Yeah.
So while we're running around this winter wonderland, I have to ask, how many of you guys in the chat are excited for some mother effing Game of Thrones tonight? Oh, I'm so excited.
What time is that?
I'm not sure, probably like 9 or 10ish or something like that.
Yeah, that's one of the that's one of the shows that I have to watch because I just finished all of freaking Doctor Who.
Yeah.
All 700 whatever the F episodes of that. Yeah. My commute gives me a lot of time to watch things. So I either usually
bring
watch...
a laptop or something?
I put the episodes on my phone.
Oh.
Yeah. You know, if I have the DVDs or something, I just rip any code and put it on my phone.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought the Blu-ray set of the first season, and I'm usually, like, in general, I've always been very skeptical of Blu-rays just because most things, like, it's not worth paying the extra because, you know, especially like older movies, like the actual film that they're using, it's not going to look any better in Blu-ray than it does on DVD. But I definitely am very happy that I got the Blu-ray for this one because it just looks amazing.
What the heck? That was weird. I hate this thing. Like, where do I go?
Yeah, this is one of the sections where, you know, because there are 2 paths, that's sort of why they force you to, like, you know, zoom your aim around to hit the target, because, you know, you actually have a choice, but most of the time, you know, you're literally just having to constantly shift the aim for something. You know, you're supposed to be. It's the idea is that you're supposed to feel like you're flying all over the place and, you know, using these acrobatic moves, but really it's just like fiddling around.
Yeah.
Trying to get to the next handhold, which is they could have done that better.
So here I am running to. I'll learn a move and then I'll come back this way. So.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, when you go through this story, Luffy, at in most of these levels, he will figure out some new action that will let him interact with something, and you can go back and.
Oh, I can't do that. Where the hell's Sanji? Does Sanji just magically appear? Or is it more forward? I think I'm just supposed to start going backwards and then he appears, actually, now that I think about it. Yeah, there he goes. Hi, Sanji. You weren't there a second ago. And now we wait.
Alright, so the question. Oh wait, a bunch of questions. Did anyone play the Game Boy Advance One Piece game that 4Kids came out with? I did play that, a little bit of it.
How was it?
It seemed okay. I mean, it was pretty sort of classic, old school platforming. I didn't get too far in it, but it was kind of weird just to see something that was like, it was an original One Piece game that was clearly not made in Japan. So it was, I don't know, it was just something really bizarre about that thought. But they did a pretty decent job. I don't think anyone would put it on their top of their list of favorites, but it was a pretty decent game.
Yep, and now we're all the way back here. So now that we learned the move.
Yeah, now you can headbutt your way through all those walls. So yeah, what are your favorite video game series, Jason?
In general?
Yeah, we had a question.
Let's see. When I was little, I was always a big fan of Sonic. I always liked Sonic more than Mario.
Oh, really?
I gotta say, yeah.
You're a big Sega?
I don't know. I really don't put it as if I was Sega or Nintendo. I just found Sonic just kind of like, I like the fast pace and how you had all these different routes you could take. I mean, with Mario, yeah, you could find the little secret route to skip the level or two.
Yeah, I always noticed that. That was one of the things that jumped out to me, was that in a way the Sonic games were a lot harder just because they were so much bigger, and you really had to like get into that very specific groove where you were keeping your speed up and just blazing through the level, whereas with Mario it's always pretty much whatever you can see is the path that you can go on.
Yeah, pretty much. But currently, I don't know, I like the Uncharted series a lot. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just turning into a Sony fan now, but yeah, I don't know, I'm not much of a shooter. I like anything that's platforms or puzzles, and I always like to try new ones of those.
Mm-hmm. Did you play Portal?
Yes, I love Portal. Portal is
man. Yeah, those are great games. I like the Uncharted series a lot too. I do play a lot of RPGs, and I'm really into the Tales of series. I've played pretty much all of those games, and there's only been probably like less than half of them that have been released in English, so I have a lot of import copies of those.
Yeah, I mean, RPGs, the problem with that is they take too long.
Yeah, I definitely have trouble finishing them, especially because I'm the type of guy that like I want to get every, open every chest and like get every secret, and I play too many games. Like I buy too many games that I'll, once I hit a slow spot in something and I get a new game, then I'm gonna switch over to that other game and I'm never gonna go back.
Right. I mean, I like games that you could just always replay with certain challenges to them. Like with Sonic, it was always fun because it's like, how quick could you beat the level? And I mean, if you play those games a really long time, I've seen some videos of like how people play those, and it's just like, wow, how many hours of your life did you waste to accomplish that? It's like I spent like a couple, like tens of hours on this level, and for 50 seconds of glory.
Yeah, well, you know, it's whatever floats your boat, especially, you know, if you want to feel like, you know, you're one of the best in the world at doing something. You know, I think there's a drive to a lot of people to do stuff like that.
Oh, speaking of that, with rankings in this game for online mode, I've noticed, I think there's a cap of like 99,999.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not very high, and so...
Yeah, you have like, I was like looking at like what numbers like 1 through whatever, and it's like, wow, as long as this list allows me to view, it's all the same score.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that was just like a glitch, like they meant to like have extra decimals in there, but, you know, did a little thing. But I don't know. But as I just want to say, another video game series I really like is Legend of Zelda.
Oh yeah,
big fan of
classics.
Those. Yeah, but you know, I like the puzzle games a lot. I either look for good platforming, good puzzles, or just good writing.
Mm-hmm. Did you play Skyward Sword?
Yeah.
I have not played it yet. I have not used the Wii for many months. Although there's a Xenoblade is supposed to come out in North America this month, actually in April, and that's supposed to be really good. So I'll probably use the Wii again for that. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know. With all of, I think the Wii controls is really gimmicky.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely a couple like really sterling examples of games. Most of them, of course, Nintendo games, where they actually like really nailed the controls, and you know, it's almost like, why can't more developers do it this well? But yeah, way too few of those, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I would like it if, like, for Skyward Sword and all those, if there was an option, just play with a controller and no motion.
Yeah, well, I think with Skyward Sword, you know, the whole idea was that it was programmed entirely with that in mind, so it probably would not be anywhere near the same game if you couldn't use it, if you couldn't use the Wiimote. But
yeah, and we just skipped a thing right here is, yes, you could actually play against the Lapons in this game, so they wouldn't, like, render, like, more characters, but they have Lapons.
Yeah, they'll make giant rabbits, but they won't put actual characters.
It's a white rabbit.
Yeah, they are assholes too. They are a pain in the ass to fight.
Yeah, they are. They're one of the hardest bosses. It's kind of funny, except for like aside from the Logia guys.
Mm-hmm.
Has any DLC come out? Lots of DLC has come out.
Yeah, they're doing weekly DLC. I think this is the 5th week since the release, because there are 5 packs, and basically all the DLC is every week they release one costume for one character, and it costs 350 yen, which is like 450 in US dollars, and they release one scenario which you can use in the challenge mode from the main menu. Yeah. And I have not bought any of those. I'm kind of contemplating maybe getting 1 or 2 of them when I feel like it, but
yeah,
so far
it
seems like that is going to be it. At least they've released in one of the, I think like the Jump or something, they actually had a sort of upcoming schedule where it looked like they had about 10 or so weeks of costumes and DLC, but yeah, nothing really substantial.
Yeah, really quick, this is it allows me to grab Danger TNT and blow stuff up. So I just blew a way path, and I also kind of allow this fire to happen, so that'll help Nami recover, even though I have one right there. So,
yeah, the scenarios are basically just they're the Muso levels, but they will have particular goals. Like I think the very first one was like defeat 1,000 pirates. So they would just keep spawning pirates until you've defeated 1,000 of them, and then the level's over. But they're usually like sort of themed around the character whose costume came out. So for example, this week is Sanji's kimono costume, and the scenario was Sanji has to protect Nami, Robin, and Hancock from enemy pirates or bosses or something. So there will be some that are like really hard. They all list a recommended level, and I believe towards the end of the originally posted schedule, like they're all recommended level 50, and I think the last one is like the ultimate one, and it's supposed to be basically the hardest possible level that they could put in. So it's pretty simple stuff, and they aren't new levels. There's it'll just be taking place on one of these pre-existing maps. Right. Like the actual downloads are like 200 kilobytes, so it's clearly just reprogramming.
What happened just now is I brought one of the barrels with me, threw it, and created a little entry. There. So now I am gonna go get Nami, who is freezing her ass off. So yeah.
That's right.
So while I was away, did we miss any questions?
I don't think so.
Alright. I believe this level's almost done. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're pretty close to the end here.
Alright. So, yeah. So, right. And then, of course...
That'll teach Nami for wearing a bikini all the time.
Yeah. And, of course, as soon as I exit, the cave collapses.
Yeah. So Jason, here you go. Greg is actually talking to me on Skype, and he says, "What's your favorite action segment?" Since we already sort of did the bosses.
Oh. Favorite action segment? Ooh. Not Water 7. Let's see. I think I actually do like this one a little bit, aside from the cave stuff. But I think I'm gonna say Bradier.
Yeah. Yeah, they did a pretty good job of, sort of creating that feeling of, leaping around, and you have all those sort of grab around the corner and you sort of spin around stuff without it getting so overbearing that you just get annoyed with it.
Right.
It's probably a good one. I do like this one.
Yeah. So, yeah. Haha.
The thing with Water 7, we will see it. I guess probably maybe next week or.
No, in 2 episodes from now.
Okay. Yeah, that one just has a lot of this kind of thing. Lots of Luffy jumping around with stuff, and it's a little disorienting at times, and it's just way too much of that compared to actually doing stuff.
Despite getting lost a few times, I still got an S in this level.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. So yeah.
Get some more cinematics here.
Yeah, Steven, are you good with sticking around to finish off the drum arc with the Wapol boss?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
It's a good wrap up.
Yeah. And then I'll have fun. But yeah, I gotta say the cinematics in this looked really nice.
Yeah, the actual like pre-rendered videos, like this one, are really well done, and there's a lot of you know, pretty good facial, particularly, you know, for something that's based on an anime. Usually, you know, you have these really recognizable characters, and when they actually go into, you know, these sort of pre-rendered videos, a lot of games have trouble sort of reproducing that look. But I think they did a really good job in this one, particularly like, you know, one of the things we were talking about a while ago was, you know, there are certain levels that you can play that are easier to farm coins when you want to complete your coin collection. And, you know, one of those is the CP9 boss battles that you fight in Enies Lobby. And there's a lot of videos in that one. And like the one where, you know, Usopp is shouting at Luffy as he's fighting Lucci, saying, you know, get up, you know, you have to keep fighting, and a lot of the facial animation, just the expressions, were just really well. I think they really nailed it.
Yeah, especially in these like little manga panels, the toning, all that stuff. They're really well done.
Yeah,
especially for using their models. Hey, look at that.
All right. So why? Yeah, okay. So a lot of Japanese games, you get letter rankings, and they usually go upwards, you know, like D, C, B, A, and then S. Is there a particular reason for that? I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure there is a reason, but I don't know what it is. I've always assumed that the S meant like special or something like that. But it's definitely, yeah, I mean, every time you see one of those in a Japanese game, it's always, the S is always the high rank, which is kind of weird.
It's funny, I normally know the answer to that, I just can't think of what it means at the moment. Oh well. Not hitting any bells, but no. Whatever. I don't mind it. So, yeah, as we will see, we have some levels that are just boss fights.
Yeah, there are a couple, and it's kind of cool because it's, you know, it's not as much of a hassle to get through them. You sort of get the whole story angle of it without having to play through a huge level first.
Well, I mean, like, for example, imagine if you had, like, the whole castle and everything had to be rendered for like the previous level. It just makes sense to have that. I mean, with the CP9 boss fight, and I'll see if I can show you the glitch, when you're Sanji fighting Jabra, but if you go close enough against the wall, you can see in the next area over, seeing through the wall, you can see Zoro's arena. Just pre-rendered already. Just because all that stuff is part of the level that loaded.
Yeah. What level has the best scenery? That's a good question.
I do like Kokoyashi in the way that you could see like Arlong Park, like when you're not there yet, just like in the distance. That, I mean, like, you have like little things like that that are kind of fun. And I'm going to see if I could do it here, but you could actually see Panda Man in a few areas.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, there are some Panda Man appearances. They definitely got him in there.
Yeah.
I kind of like Sabaudi. I think they did a pretty good job with with that one.
Sabaudi was nice. Yeah. I mean, I mean, Impel Down was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Especially sort of Magellan's toilet.
Yeah, that is, you know, one of the things, like we were talking earlier about, you know, if you had an ideal combination of genres for a One Piece game, the one thing that this game doesn't really let you do is it doesn't let you just sort of stand around and appreciate the backgrounds and the graphics, because you're sort of always rushing around, you know, making sure your guys don't get beaten and stuff like that.
That's the thing. With this, you're not going to expect to see too much like scenery because it isn't meant for that.
Yeah. This is too bad.
Yeah. So, God, Chopper's mouth with the render is ridiculous. Just like how his model is made, like that middle panel with the mouth.
Okay.
So yeah. So here we come, and we're about to fight Wapol.
Yeah, Greg's been sending me some messages, and he pointed out that if you look, because we were talking earlier about how well they rendered the story cutscenes, and he said check out, if we get the chance, when we get to Lucci, check out his hair when he's viewed from the front in Leopard Man mode, because if you remember, he has that crazy frizzy hair.
Well, I mean, same with Chopper. Chopper's fur.
Yeah, Chopper. Yeah, he's got some nice details.
Yeah,
too,
we'll see that in a bit. The way they did Chopper's fur. So, yeah, I mean, I gotta say, I do like the music in this game. But, alright. Time to beat guys.
Alright.
So where is Wapol? You don't have to, like, beat all these guys. You just have to pretty much get Wapol.
Yeah, well, that's the nice thing is, whenever you have these fights where they actually have the mobs there too, is they basically exist so you can build up your special bar,
right,
and then unload it on the boss. Click. And like we said before, obviously, once you get Wapol knocked down on his first bar, then it will shift stages a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we get a cinematic right here. If you do bullet. And yeah, here you could see with Chopper. I don't know how it looks, but you can see the little fuzz. Sanji looks so weird without the damn cigarette. But look at the fur, like on Wapol's hippo coat.
Yeah, no, definitely lots of detail, lots of attention to detail on the cutscenes.
Yeah.
Which is nice, because I mean, for as much as you can say that they skimped out on certain things, and they didn't really flesh out everything that they potentially could have, it seems like a lot of the stuff that they did put in, they did a really good job on.
Yeah, they definitely did attention to detail, and you wouldn't have that attention to detail if they're like, hey, let's build Skypiea, hey, let's build Thriller Bark.
Well, yeah, well, at the very least, it wouldn't have had that detail if they were trying to release it in time for this whole promotional thing that they've been doing in the first half of this year, for the anniversary and so on.
How long do you think they've worked on this game?
I have no idea. It's hard to say.
Because then it's like, also, like, then when can we expect a second? I mean, I'm assuming there will be one.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, it's still way too early to know, what their future plans are.
I wouldn't be surprised if production has started.
Yeah. Well, particularly if all the DLC it's just those costumes, and they've obviously, if that's all it's going to be, then they've had that stuff all done for quite a while. So there wouldn't really be any, leftover manpower being spent on.
Oh. So, really quick, so now we get to switch to Chopper for the second part of this battle. So, I just find it so funny watching time skip Luffy like this. So yeah. And I think Panda Man is right around here, too.
He was in Alabasta, wasn't he?
He's all over the place.
Yeah, he has a couple cameos here.
Yeah, where is he? Somewhere before you started. Oh. I know I saw him once before over here. So yeah, now getting to play as Chopper. Chopper's an interesting character.
Yeah, he's a little tricky because you can't, like, every character has a just kind of a button mash combo where you just spam the square button. But Chopper is not a good character to do that with because he just
Chopper,
stays.
You have to pay attention to what you're doing.
Yeah. So you have to use a combination of both buttons, and if you just a lot of his combos, if you are not doing a specific move when you press triangle, he just sort of does his human point and he goes raw, and that's it, and it sort of ends the combo. So he's a bit more finicky. But you can use Monster Chopper, which is awesome.
Yeah. Now I think Scope makes someone weaker or something, right?
Yeah, you can press. That's what, R2, right?
Yeah.
The Chopper. Yeah. Scope will basically, once you see the little icon over the other guys, that basically means that they take extra damage because you have identified their weaknesses.
Yes. And R1, just in case anyone's curious, is guard point.
Right. Yeah. He's one of the few. Is there anyone else?
I think Robin has counters as well.
Yeah, Robin, but it's just Robin, Chopper, and Luffy that actually have that defensive ability, right?
Right. Should we go gear second against Wapol?
I think you should. Yeah, this is one of the things. When you get to this point, you can see all those like bits of weapon racks and machinery sitting around, and you can actually utilize Luffy's R2 to grab them and throw them at him. And I tried to do that. Yeah, I tried to do that originally, and it's way too hard because you have to turn around and point and aim at him, and all the while he's like charging after you.
I kept thinking that I would get a trophy or something.
Right, because there are a lot of trophies for basically getting the game to prompt you to pull off certain action sequences against the bosses.
Right. And he gets bigger when he eats those things.
Yeah.
Come on, die already. There we go. So yeah, obviously not as detailed as some of the cinematics, but Gear 2 isn't really that useless. It allows you to attack a lot faster, pretty much.
Yeah, there are a couple. Obviously, there.
With Wapol, it's kind of hard because all the stuff he does tends to make himself invulnerable for a few seconds. So it's a bad example to do it against this character, but. Right.
Yeah, most of the playable characters will have a lot of them, at least maybe not most of them. A lot of them have secondary specials that are not a single attack, but are just basically powers you up for like 20 seconds or so. And Gear Second is one of those. And when you can utilize them correctly, they're awesome. But obviously, if you don't really get the chance to get those hits in, then they're mostly wasted.
Right. By the way, that C I got was because I didn't really fight any of the enemies, because you get higher grades based on how many people you beat, and I just beat the boss. So.
Right. If you had taken longer to knock out Wapol in the first stage, you probably would have gotten more guys that just hop into the battle arena.
Aw, poor Chopper. But yeah, I can see the little fuzz on him.
Just like these stuffed animals, stuffed animal toys that
yeah.
they sell by the boatload.
Yeah, that's what Chopper is. Marketing.
Yep.
It's funny how Oda didn't intend him to be that way, especially with that first design.
Yeah, his original design was pretty wild.
Yeah, he had the snout.
Right.
So yeah, I think at this point we're watching. So, we play through from the beginning to the end of Drum. So yeah, I gotta say, it's pretty fun to play through these levels, and I mean it's kind of funny because I wonder how long that will last, because if they do it again, I don't know how other Musas do it, but if they do it again where you play through the story mode, is it going to kind of like get to the point where it's like DBZ, where it's like, yeah, enough of that already?
Yeah, it's we don't really know how they will approach that, and it's something to watch for, certainly, because I think, you know, they could, like I said earlier, particularly with the way the game was constructed and the way they're selling it. There's a lot of really unhappy people in Japan, certainly if you go by Amazon reviews. So I feel like, you know, if they really take certain things to heart and they, you know, they really attack the deficiencies of this game when they make a sequel, it could turn out to be incredibly awesome. And if they do not take any of that stuff into account and, you know, it ends up being largely recycled, it could be pretty disastrous for them.
Right.
So it's just, you know, the range of possibilities for a sequel is really wide, and I don't know what we're actually going to get.
Do you think people will be able to bring over costume DLC from the first game that they bought to the next one?
I doubt it. It doesn't seem like the kind of thing that that they typically do, just in games in general, and certainly not with Bandai Namco, because they are definitely big fans of nickel and diming.
Well, they could be like, hey, bring over all your old content for $2.
Yeah, you can unlock all of your costumes. It just costs an extra $1 for each of them in the second game.
Extra $1 per costume. Sometimes I fear that we're giving them ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, because they're definitely... Oh, golly, that improved. Alrighty, so, that's pretty much it for this week.
Yeah, so let's see what we got. Alabasta next week.
Yeah, we have Alabasta next week. Alabasta has 2 parts to it, and then we'll get into a little bit of Water 7, not the main stage for Water 7. So I think, you know, 3 chapters an episode of this, if they're not too short, that is. But,
yep.
Yeah. We'll have at least an hour. So yeah, that is going to do it for the second episode of Grand Line Gaming. I thank you all for joining us. Sorry about the little technical mishaps that happened, but, you know, why not? It happens, and it's hard to do anything about it when we're going live. So, next week there will not be an episode because I will be at Anime Boston, and I am the one with the capture card, so, yeah. And, yeah, and hopefully I'll get to the bottom of what happened this week, but this will go online, this will go on YouTube, so hopefully some of the audio glitches won't be present when I export it, so feel free to watch it there. If you came in the middle, you can go on YouTube and watch, so we'll see how that turns out. But
yeah, and you're uploading a bunch of the Anime Fans Give Back this week, right?
Yes, I have started ripping those as well, and I've been handing those off to Zach. So.
Okay. Zach will be uploading them then, I guess.
Yeah. So just don't yell at me. Anyways, for this episode of the Grand Line Gaming, my name is Jason.
And my name is Steven.
Thank you so much for joining us, and please let us know what we could do to improve and make this more experienced, and what games you'd like to see as well after we finish going through Kaizoku Musou. Until next time, take care.
All right, see you guys.